Wait, don't click off the video just yet. If you do, it'll lead to a timeline where you're extremely bored for the next 10 minutes or so. Trust me, I spent the last month going around collecting time machines and gadgets to let me know where something is amiss. And if you decide to watch this video, I promise you this is the timeline where everything turns out A-okay. So, you're staying. I see this as an absolute win. Time travel! A concept that many nerds around the globe have fallen in love with, but one that is just as likely to give you a headache as it is to screw up something in history. This makes absolutely no sense. The first time I remember seeing the concept of time travel was in Back to the Future 3, as in my youth, I saw it playing on TV when I was visiting the good old US of A. I don't remember much about it, but I do recall being enthralled with the concept of the time machine. I mean, the Delorean is freaking iconic. I was so enamored by the concept that any little box that I got my hands on, be it from the groceries or packages, I would use it to build my own time machine. Playing around and pretending I could go to the future, to the distant past, and generally just having a good time. After a few days of building them, they would always end up disappearing. On one particular occasion, I overheard my mother talking about how some of the groceries had gone missing, so I put 2 and 2 together, and I postulated that maybe it fell in the time machine and activated the time circuits, and now it's somewhere in the past. My mom patted me on the head and said,
"Oh, sure it did, sweetie."
In retrospect, my parents were probably just cleaning up and throwing these used boxes in the trash now that they had served their purpose. What happened to the groceries? No idea. Maybe they fell behind the counter. Maybe they were really lost to history. Or maybe they fell way back in time, somehow got underground and grew into the actual plants that were then harvested by humans. That, however unlikely, would be what we call a paradox. And time travel, by its very nature, is riddled with them. No matter how well you plan out a story with time travel, no matter how hard you try, it's the nature of a paradox. It contradicts itself. So, as the genre has evolved, certain paradoxes have prevailed, gaining names and becoming widespread. Like the grandfather paradox, which essentially dictates it's impossible to accomplish something like, say, killing your grandfather, because if you do go back in time and kill him, you'll create a timeline where you were never born, didn't discover time travel, so you didn't go back in time and kill him. This one can usually be explained away if you are using a multiple timeline approach, so instead of replacing the timeline you came from, you just create a brand new one. It's like you're traveling down a road that's usually one way, so now you can go down a different intersection. Famously, Fry from Futurama caused this event to trigger by accidentally killing his own grandfather, only to replace him, making him his own grandfather, which is very weird, but in a way causes its own type of paradox. Like the one I talked about in the very beginning, which is a Bootstrap Paradox or Predestination Paradox, which I think are close enough to be lumped in together. Essentially, I go back in time to fix something, end up screwing it up, causing the initial thing I'm going back in time to prevent. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy in time travel form, which makes it my favorite. It's like it was always meant to happen this way. Now, in Fry's case, we know how the original timeline was meant to go. His grandparents were meant to meet. In many cases, what ends up messing with people's heads is how did this loop of events start in the first place? It's still a paradox because the logic is impossible. An event cannot cause an event that causes the first event. You can always solve these logistic impossibilities by introducing the idea of a multiverse, like in the MCU. Any change in the timeline creates a new universe, in a way fixing the issue. But that leads to its own set of complications. And I like the idea of the multiverse too. But to not get too confused, let's travel back to when I was talking about Back to the Future. The original is one of my favorite movies, and because of it, I really fell in love with this subgenre of sci-fi. It eventually led me to watch Steins Gate, one of my favorite anime, and because of this path I was set on, it eventually led me to watch Steins Gate, one of my favorite anime, and because of this path I was set on, I like thinking fourth dimensionally when it comes to storytelling. So, if you have a time travel twist in your show or movie, I am likely to catch it, like in Fate Stay Night Unlimited Break Works where I caught the loop before it was revealed, or in Madoka Magica where the same thing happened. I don't know, I just like it enough to always be looking for it. But at the same time, I think it's a narrative device that can also be abused very easily. Not every series requires time travel to function. Not everything has to have time travel in it. And if you decide to use it, you should be very careful about how you decide to implement it. And if you decide to use it, you should be very careful about how you decide to implement it.
Attention, attention. Time anomaly incoming.
What's happening? Where is this coming from? I can't find where exactly it's coming from, but I can see the choke point. I have to fix this. Wait, who are you? I'm you from the next video. Ugh, there's no time to explain. You have to go back with me. Back where? Back to the past, of course. Walked right into that one, didn't I? Just get in. I'll explain on the way. But I have to tell the viewers to like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Where we're going, there's no need to like and subscribe. Will you just freaking explain where we're going? Fix whatever's wrong with our memories, duh.